Hi, my name's Vince Sheehan and today I'd like to talk about The Godfather, the 1972 film directed by Francis Ford Coppola and starring Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, James Caan, Robert Duvall and others. And I'd like to go through how this film's put together in terms of its structure, as well as some of the themes that crop up during this film. Now, of course, this is one of the most highly regarded films ever made, and I've watched it countless times, and every time I watch it I'm just bowled over about how brilliant it is. Everything about this film is fantastic. Despite its length, you're never bored. You're just so engrossed in the characters, the dynamics between the members of the family and between other crime families as well, the situations they find themselves in. And there's just such an epic scope in this film. And I guess you could argue that extends across the trilogy as well. And I guess the film really is about a crime family's fight for supremacy during a time of upheaval and change. We're in post-war America. You know, there's this feeling that somehow an older age is passing. This mafia family has to evolve with the times. The structure of the film is so tight as well. I mean, it's in 5 acts, and that gives the film a sense of drive and a sense of focus despite its length. We begin with in Act 1, which centres around a wedding, and we begin famously with Bonacera, who's this undertaker, is asking the Godfather, Don Corleone, who is played by fantastically, of course, by Marlon Brando, for a favour, for justice, because how his daughter's been treated. And you know, the Godfathers are so busy during his daughter's wedding with these requests from other people. But the wedding is just such a delight. You know, it's just such an enjoyable piece of filmmaking, that whole wedding scene, how the characters flit in and out of the shots, the glances from even characters which are in the background. There's just so much to enjoy in this scene, and you know, the fact that it's a wedding as well. I mean, throughout the 3 Godfather films, the you know, the sacraments of the Catholic Church are very much in evidence. You know, we've got weddings, funerals, baptisms. We have confession as well in the last Godfather film, and this kind of adds these a sense of this timeless rhythm, I guess, of life throughout these films. The wedding, of course, is where Michael and Kay turn up, and very tellingly, while they have a wedding photo, Michael invites Kay in, and of course that's telling for the rest of the story. She's now part of this family, whether she likes it or not. Johnny Fontaine, this singer, kind of lounge singer, I guess, pop singer, he wants this part in the film, and that kind of brings us on to the next act, which centres around Waltz, who's this Hollywood producer who doesn't want Johnny Fontaine to be in this film, and Tom Hagen, who's like the lawyer, the consigliere. He has to go and sort this situation out and give Waltz an offer he can't refuse, and famously that's where we get the horse's head in the bed. You know, again, such a wonderful piece of filmmaking, this whole act. And then in Act 3 we come to the crux of the drama, the chief problem that this crime family faces. That's another guy has come, this other gangster's come into town, Salozzo, who has this, who's got involved with narcotics, and he wants the Godfather to help him raise capital, but the Godfather refuses, and the Godfather gets hit, you know, and he ends up in hospital. And it's here that Michael comes more to the fore. Sonny, who is next in line, is this rather hot-headed, impetuous, kind of womanising character who doesn't think things through. He's so kind of impulsive. But Michael's the one who we realise is going to look after his father in the hospital, and maybe has the right qualities needed to be a Godfather. We have that scene where McCluskey comes and breaks Michael's jaw outside the hospital because Michael repels the gangsters, and we realise that this Salozzo character is in league with one of the other 5 families, the Tattaglias, and unless something is done, he's not going to stop until the Godfather's killed. And this is where Michael comes into his own at the end of this 3rd act, this pivotal act. It's Michael who meets Salozzo and this crooked cop, McCluskey, and he kills them point blank range. And there's that classic shot as he leaves, drops the gun, he leaves, and the music just comes in. It's such a wonderful piece of cinema. The 4th act then is all about Michael really in Sicily. He's in exile, he goes back to his father's hometown. Michael is in danger even in Sicily, but he falls in love and he marries, despite his relationship with Kay back in America, he falls in love and marries Apollonia, this beautiful young lady in Sicily, and tragically she's killed. And you feel here something changes, something switches in Michael's mind. Something, because of this tragedy, he's somehow dehumanised. Something has lost now in his soul. And you feel that he's hardened up now to perhaps be the successor. Because whilst he is in Sicily, his brother Sonny, as a result of a ruse by his abusive brother-in-law beating up his sister, he goes into a fury and he's assassinated. So then that takes us to the final act, and this is where Don Corleone meets with the other heads of the 5 families, and he kind of calls a truce. But he knows that Barzini, this other gangster, really is behind all this, and he wants the Corleone family out of business. And here Vito, really, the Godfather, is he's preparing Michael to be the next Godfather, even though he didn't really want him to be involved in the family business at all. Nevertheless, Michael has the qualities to do this. And Michael is now kind of very hard, very cold, emotionless almost, particularly with Kay. He decides he wants to finish up in New York, and they want to move to, he wants the business to move to Nevada. His brother Fredo's in Las Vegas and being looked after by this gangster called Mo Green, who's in charge of the casinos there. And Michael wants to buy out Mo Green's casinos. And then Vito dies. This patriarch who holds everything together, he dies. And it's here that at the funeral that Michael realises who is going to portray him. It's one of the capo regimes of the family, Tessio. And in this unforgettable scene, this brilliant scene, where there's the baptism, where Michael's godfather, you know, in a religious sense, of course, to this this baby. While this is going on, he's arranged for the other heads of the 5 families to be assassinated. And that brings us to the end of the film. Michael is now crowned, if you like, as the godfather. They kiss his hand. He lies to his wife about what's going on. He kills Carlo, his abusive brother-in-law, much to the outrage of Connie, and he kills Tessia, who betrayed him. And Michael now is sitting on top of things in the crime families of America. And that's the film. I mean, you know, it's so amazing. And the themes, well, family, of course, loyalty, repaying debts, and I guess above all, clinging on to power and to fighting others off and destroying the competition, I guess. There's much about how power corrupts, of course. Michael starts off with as this rather timid character, and by the end of this film he's like this cold, calculating machine almost, and I guess that's testament to the portrayal by Al Pacino. You know, and there's this wonderful juxtapositions in this film. You know, the baptism, which is like a new life in the Catholic Church, and while this is happening, this sacrament of new life, all these people are being killed by this man who's in church making these vows in front of God. It's very powerful and quite frightening how somebody can just do that callously whilst making these promises in church at his godson's christening. There's a lot, I guess, about the American dream as well, which will be developed more in the second Godfather film. But such a superbly made film, which never loses its freshness. It's so well constructed, so powerful, so dramatically vivid and compelling. And if you haven't seen it, please see it, because it's absolutely marvellous. Thanks for watching. I've just included a brief slideshow of the structure and themes. Thank you. Bye.